welcome back to BookTube with Amy. It is a very, very belated finale of Talking Trollocs.
I've just got over the excitement.
Yeah, it's a bit belated because life has been mental and work has been mental, but then also a huge element of just cannot be arsedness to sit down and talk about this book. For me anyway, can't I speak for Simon, but I feel like the feeling might be mutual.
I'm delighted to get this out of the way.
Aye, but it's not really how you should feel. I don't think you should feel delighted that a book has finished. Anyway, let's jump into your thoughts. One of the things that I liked about the ending is the fact that Loyal, my main man, then went on to join Matt and Rand, and that gives me hope that the Rand chapters may become bearable, because I quite like Loyal, no because I in any way enjoy Rand.
Ogre's loyal!
He is, yes. He's very cute and I'm still just really enjoying him as a character, and I'm so glad that he is deciding to join the gang officially. What about you?
I've no real opinion.
So then something miraculous happened in the last segment of this book, in which Simon's prediction was actually right.
No!
You had a theory come to fruition.
Yes.
About the dagger.
I did!
So let's chat about it.
What was my prediction?
You predicted that Matt was being influenced by the power of the dagger.
Yes,
whereas
I did.
I thought that Matt was being influenced by the nightmares and by the Dark One just getting further and further into his head. But you were like, no, it's some sort of like Lord of the Rings-esque ring.
Well, I just
effect.
thought because he'd taken the dagger and it seemed, there was a point made about the fact that he'd managed to get away with this in secret. The rest of the company didn't know that he had the dagger with him. It made me think, if there's a change in his behaviour and he's got a dagger nobody knows about, there's got to be some sort of relationship. But what was interesting is that they couldn't just do an exorcism of the dagger, because it developed to the point that it had. He's actually got to stick with it. I think this has the potential to become interesting, because it's not just a magic fix, which, fantasy in general is, a problem with, not just in this book. But I don't want it to just become the same thing.
I agree. I think that it could be really interesting, because if we are put in positions where we didn't know the true reasoning behind Matt's decision making, is he making this decision because he thinks it's actually for the best and that is his genuine input, or is he making decisions based on the fact he's been influenced by this dagger? And I guess it'll make him quite unreliable. I was going to say an unreliable narrator, but not really, because we get none of it from his perspective. But it'll make him quite unreliable, which could be really interesting if used effectively, but if it's used too much, then I agree with you, I think it'll just be pretty dull. But I was cheering for you in that. It all got developed.
And Tom will be back.
Tom will be back.
Gandalf's lot.
So one of the other things when Moiraine is finding out about the boys and Matt being influenced by this dagger is that the boys decide to be open with her about the dreams that they've been having, which is something that I really enjoyed, because I hate when I don't really like non-communication tropes. I hate that when something could be so easily resolved just by two people having a conversation. And so I was really worried that that was maybe going to be drawn out and out and out for a couple of books, or even maybe to the end of the next book. So I'm really glad that we just quashed that and they were listen,
You do like communicating, don't you?
yes, this is what's going on, what's the script, and then it means that she'll be able to keep a wee eye out for them.
Yeah, I like that too. And I found actually that this hasn't been particularly bad for that. Stuff gets resolved a lot faster than I think some other books might let it be. So it was nice, like you say, to just have that happen, and we're not stringing it out for longer than it needs to be.
Yeah. So one of the things I didn't enjoy, was the fact that they've all just got back together. We've waited half the book at this point for them all to get back together. They all get back together and then they go, shall we all split up again? I hate that. No, I totally appreciate that, like, from a multi-person perspective, which is what I enjoy in books, characters need to be split up. But then I feel like they should have either been split up for much longer and just developed and went on, like, their own journeys and then came back at a later date, as opposed to it feeling like the crux of the main book is them finding each other again, for it to then end with them all split up. It just made it all feel pretty redundant and pointless to me. I was just like, right, so this has all been completely unnecessary then.
I disagree. I liked when they all got back together, and I'm still glad that it happened, even though they split back up again. Because it was like a nice wee homecoming, and I started to dig the characters a bit more when you saw them all having their kind of relationships and dynamics come back. And then obviously they had to go back and crack on with things. And it's like when you come home at the end of a shift, you know, it's not the weekend yet, but it's the end of a shift, and it's still nice to have that wee, how was your day? And then go back to work the next day, knowing the weekend's coming.
I suppose when you put it like that, but I was just a bit agitated by it. I don't really enjoy that in a book. It just feels like an unnecessary plot pushing development bit than rather like it actual needs to happen. It just didn't feel very natural for me.
That they got back together or that they split up again?
That they got back together after all this time and then they split up again right away.
What was it, the fact that they got back together that was plot pushy, or the fact they then split up that was plot pushy?
Well, both. Like, one of those on their own I don't think would have been so bad. Like, if they just got back together and that's where the book ended, fine. Or if they didn't get back together and like we just continued being split up into the next book, fine. But I think it's the fact that it was like, we're together again, we're no, we're together again, we're no. It's just, I didn't like it. It doesn't feel natural to me. It just feels like plot points for the sake of plot points, as opposed to it actually being how a journey would go.
I've only taken that perspective when we started dating. So can we talk about the most irritating thing in the whole segment?
What is that?
That we finally got to see the eye of the wheel of the time of the world.
Yes.
They went through this enormous corridor in a really boring going along a corridor sequence that went on longer than the Clyde Tunnel.
I know it's a wee bit like for any Dragon Ball Z fans. It's a wee bit when Goku dies and is like trying to get to heaven, and it's like 5 episodes of him just running this road.
We get to the eye of the wheel of the time of the world, which is neither an eye or a wheel or a world or a watch. They go, and then they leave again.
I know, that was another thing for me that just felt like plot for the sake of it.
What was the point of the whole book? Could they not have just got a bus to Tar Valon and saved us 650 of those pages?
I feel like they could have. Like, this book would have been massively improved by mobile phones and Uber.
Raise your hand if you actually know what the eye of the time of the wheel of the world actually is.
I think it'll maybe have more significance when we get into the books and like it develops the mythology and the history a wee bit more. But at this point it was just like, oh aye, very nice. It's like when a toddler comes home and shows you your like what they've drew and you're just like, that's a lovely cow, and they're like, it's a clown, and you're like, lovely clown, yep, aye, that'll go right on the fridge.
Yeah, but that's how they train in Tar Valon. Aye, I said aye.
God's sake, that was awful. So one of the things that has annoyed me consistently throughout the entire book has been Rand, but also just how much Robert Jordan is pushing the narrative that Rand is like a total fucking babe magnet. And he did it again in the last bit of the book. Like, we have read this ginormous fucking tome, right? And we're like getting to the end, and all the boys are seeing Rand again. Now bearing in mind they're like best pals, and they're all like, alright Shagga, what's been happening? And they're pure asking him like love advice, like as if Rand is like the absolute man. Like, stop pushing this narrative, because is he not like 14 or something?
All I can say, Amy, is that I felt seen when I read these chapters.
Oh,
and
honestly.
It is nice to finally be represented.
Robert Jordan should have focused more on like properly developing plot points at the end of this book, and like giving us a reason to pick up the next one, other than just having like an entire fucking blind date segment where Rand and the boys are all just talking about romance and love and pumping, and like, stop this! Stop it! And then ultimately I was pleased because, you know, Egwene dumped Rand's ass. Like, yes, Team Egwene forever. So her and Rand are nae together anymore, which I'm pleased about because they were never endgame for me.
Are there any wheelers out there who were unaware that Rand and Egwene were actually together?
Yes, because it's quite a shocking revelation for you, that, wasn't it?
I mean, we've all been dumped by people that we didn't know that we were dating. I know I have. And, you know, it's a bit of a weird feeling. But
I feel like both Rand and Egwene knew they were dating each other.
they didn't share it with the group.
They did, they knew.
So why did Rand not mention to any of his many potential suitoresses that he had an Egwene in a port somewhere?
Because he's a ladies' man, so he's not really caring about Egwene. Oh, he's a rebel!
Randy.
Oh, gross. This is why Perrin is in love with her and has loved her from afar, because he would never do that to Rand. This is why their love story is so fucking beautiful and tragic, and why I ship it entirely.
This is why he loves her, because she's with his
No,
pal.
he loves her,
Not
but why
much of
he's
a
no
pal.
made a move. Why he's no made a move.
But is there
Hashtag Pegwin. Justice for
is
Pegwin.
there not still a hashtag bro code that means she's off limits?
No, I'm sorry, but no. True love prevails, mate.
Rand is a bro, and I think Perrin is a bro.
So...
All my friends know that when I die, they're not allowed to move in on you.
No, thanks for that, dear, but I don't think any of your friends are really my type. Anyway, moving on swiftly.
Nay joy, Agnes. She's been putting in the graft. You don't notice she's barely left you alone all year.
Don't remember my point!
Ooh, what's the balance of probabilities that you're going to end up with Agnes when Simon gets hit by a bus?
So one of the things for me that was probably the biggest letdown of this book was
the
that...
book?
Well, yes, but none of the fight scenes at the end of the book that we had been leading up to felt... I was going to say well written, but that's maybe very harsh. But for me personally, they didn't hold my attention because there was no tension. Like, anything bad that could have happened at this point has just been very easily resolved. And so I went into these fight scenes pretty confident that nothing bad was going to happen to any of our main characters. And therefore I just didn't really buy into it. And like, I didn't get that fear where I was like, oh my god, they're in danger, like I've had with many other books.
It's a fair point actually, because by the end of the first book you maybe expect there might have been a big ticket death. And I actually didn't even anticipate that there could be, which is, I didn't notice until you've said that just now, but it didn't cross my mind that there would be a big ticket death at this point. And maybe that in itself is a flag.
Yeah, I just feel like we've been building to something this entire book, so like something should happen, but I just felt like we've been building and we knew that aye.
Aye.
And then the last wee plot point that we get right at the very end of the book is a Rand development, and this, you know, might affect how I feel about Rand in the next book. That Rand is potentially a nice guy.
Yes. an Aes Sedai.
An Aes Sedai, I love that. How did you feel about that? Because I know you felt that.
He's the first male Aes Sedai in forever. Which does explain why he is maybe being spotlighted here. Does that mean he is the chosen one? It gets the other boys off the hook. I don't know, but it certainly does create an extra layer of peril for him, and maybe, who knows, we'll put him at odds with the rest of the company as things move forward, because he might find himself with a slightly different allegiance that they don't know about. So yeah, I think that has potential to be very, very interesting. Try not to use the word interesting again, but
I think that there could be some really good social commentary around it, because like you say, he is the first Aes Sedai in however many years, and like when Egwene found out she was potentially an Aes Sedai, like she felt like she automatically had a sisterhood, and she had like a group of people who would understand, and she had this real kinship with Moraine. Like, and I wonder if gender will play a part in that. Like, I wonder if Rand will feel the same way, if he will feel as instantly connected to them, and if he'll feel like a bit of a black sheep based on his gender. And I think that could bring in some really interesting social commentary, and I wonder what the public will view him, because currently they hate Aes Sedai because they're women and they're evil and they're untrustworthy, and I said before that I think a lot of that is based on prejudice because they're women. So I wonder how a male Aes Sedai will go down with a gen pop, whether they'll be like, oh actually, like, he's a turning point and it'll be proven that this whole thing's sexist bullshit, or if in fact they'll be even more distrusting because they'll be like, oh, they found a way to affect guys.
The 70s were known for being progressive with their gender stereotypes. But it's interesting. And to be fair, I think Robert Jordan hasn't written female characters as badly as a lot of other men.
No, I says that in the last Talking Trollocs. I feel like he has done a really good job with the female characters, and that's something that has surprised me. I don't think Robert Jordan's writing is inherently sexist. I think that he has created a potentially sexist environment, but I think that that's done on purpose.
That's
I think
a
it's done.
different thing.
It's done for social commentary, and I think that that's very interesting. I don't think that it's Robert Jordan hates women, like the case with a lot of high fantasy authors.
We don't know a lot about the female character's appearance, certainly not more than the male characters.
No, absolutely not.
So we're going to progress with the series into book 2?
Aye, for sure. We'll jump into the second book next year, with our second series of Talking Trollocs. Wow. And see how we fare with the second book. I have heard that the second book is far superior, so I am excited for it. I think that this could be the one that maybe hooks me in.
I'm looking forward to seeing Tom.
Your main man. You love him so much. Should we talk about how we both rated the first book?
Well, I just reflected on the quality of the book as a whole, and then on a scale of 1 to 5 came up with a number. What about you?
I mean your star rating.
Yeah.
What star rating did you give it?
Oh, 3.
I think I was a 3 as well. I'm just double checking.
There were bits I really enjoyed. There's a bit, I think maybe our third instalment I really enjoyed. It was earlier than you really get into it, but I was like, oh, this is actually starting to really grab me now. And I feel like it kind of went whink, whoom, and there was a long dip. So I think on average 3, a generous 3 I have to say, but a 3. But the received wisdom is nobody enjoys book 1.
Wisdom, very good.
It's like a first date. Always goes badly. And then if you manage to get through it, things are meant to pick up.
Oh, is that your review on the book or your first date, Simon? Cheek. I also gave it a 3-star. And I think that also was a wee bit generous, but I think my rating was built a lot on... I think I tried to be a wee bit more generous, knowing that this is the first book in a huge part series. So there is going to be an element of build-up and stuff like that. So, aye. Shall we do the wheel for the last time?
Let's do it.
Whose spin is it? I have no idea.
Well, you're the boss, you do it.
But I'm a terrible spinner. But it's landed on Flash prediction, so we'll just go with that. What's your Flash prediction for next book? And you can't say Tom.
Matt's going to die.
Wow, bold.
I think we need a big ticket death. It'll not be Rand. I don't think it'll be Penguin. I think it'll be Rand. I think it'll be Matt.
I think that Egwin and Perrin might have a dalliance in the next book. That's maybe more a hope than it is a prediction. But I predict we're going to get a lot more Egwin next book, and that she is going to be far more important to the story than what we think right now. I think that she has so much potential, and there's a big part, a big role in this for her.
This has been Series 1, 2022.
Yeah.
Look forward to continuing until we reach the final instalment in 2036.
Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying everything that you're reading at the moment. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye!